Hello there. How the hell are you? It's Friday. It's 10 o'clock, 10 p.m. And you catch me in a very sort of forlorn. That's a bit heavy. Fed up. Yeah, that's probably more like it. Sort of fed up and feeling sorry for myself kind of mood today. The main reason for that, I have to say, is because it's not because I've not been creative, because I have. I've been so busy. But it's because I took a little tumble yesterday and it bloody hurt. It hurt so much. I have some steps at the front of my home and the outdoor light isn't working. So I stupidly thought, oh, I'll be all right with my 2 bags of shopping. So I walked down the steps and crashed. I think it was probably the penultimate step I tripped on and I went down. You know what they say, the bigger that you are, the harder you fall. I fell like scaffolding. It was awful. I had 2 bags of shopping, one went one way. I don't know whether I landed on one. All I know is when I had landed, I just sat there thinking, "Oh my God, is this where I'm gonna end? Is this gonna be the end of my life?" Sat here in the dark and it was cold and I literally could not move, guys. I couldn't move. And I thought, okay, I think my body's going into shock. So I started feeling cold and, sort of a bit shivery. And then I thought, no, you've got to be brave because you're on your own. And the first thing I normally do is ring one of the kids. One of my daughters lives like 5, 7 minutes away in the car. So my first thought was to ring her, and then I thought, well, that's a bit stupid because I could be up on my feet in a couple of minutes. So I thought, no, you've got to do it on your own, Jan. So I sat there and I was just worried I might sort of go into cardiac arrest or something. Um, and as I say, it was pitch black and it was just at the side of the house. I could have laid there all night and nobody would have seen me. So I thought, right, okay, I've got to be big and I've got to be brave. So after a while, I sort of waited until I'd calmed down a bit and thought, right, well, now's the time to try and get up. Okay, so I was sort of monitoring my breathing, and I thought, now just try and get up, Jan. And I knew one of my ankles was really hurting, and I thought, oh, damn, I bet I've gone and broken my ankle. Um, and my hand was hurting, my fingers were bleeding. So anyway, I managed to get up, and I thought, thank God, um, you know, I've survived. um, and I sort of hobbled to the front door, and the cat sort of came to greet me at the door, and I just wept. I was so like, yeah, I think I was in a little bit of shock, but I just felt so sorry for myself. And, when something like that happens, you become very aware of, your own surroundings. And, I'm an empty nester now. My teen's moved out, lives with his girlfriend now, not too far away. Um, and so I'm an empty nester. So I was just very aware of that. And I thought, okay, get your thoughts together. You've survived. I didn't think I'd broken anything. Um, so anyway, I came in and shut the door and I thought, right, make yourself a cup of tea. So I made myself a cup of tea, sweet hot tea. I thought that's what they do. That's what they give you for shock. So, yeah, so I'm standing there on one leg, because I knew I'd done some sort of damage to the other one. And, so I just thought I made myself a cup of tea. Hi. Hi, Quint. How are you? Yoga, have you ever seen The Twilight Zone from the 60s? No, I haven't. No, I haven't. Anyway, so then, yeah, so I'm indoors, made myself a cup of tea, and then I went to the toilet. And as I sat on the toilet, the cat always comes and joins me in the toilet, and I don't know why. Happy Friday to you too. Thanks for coming in. Happy Friday to you too. Um, So I'll just say this little story. So I'm sat on the toilet, and the cat always comes in and rubs her legs against me while we're in there. So I found myself blabbing to my cat, whose name is Aska. And I was like, Aska, Mummy's had a fall. Mummy's hurt herself. I was that sad, guys. I was that sad. And I know I could have phoned the family. I could have phoned my kids and they would have come round and everything. But what's the point? I wasn't dead. I'd survived. So then I forced myself to cook myself some dinner. Um, and then me and Aska, we sat and watched television together while I was feeling very, very poorly, very, very sad. Sorry, I think that's the word. Very, very sorry for myself. I was. So, am I feeling sorry for myself now? Not really. But I've sort of said to myself, Jan, you need to do more live streams. So I thought I'm sat at my computer now and I should be working. I'm still building this website. And I've looked to see if anything's going on YouTube. Nothing. Nothing's going on YouTube. It's all a lot of rubbish. Um, so I thought, oh, I've got Drag Race to watch, so I might watch that later. Anyway, so today I was meant to be going to the dentist. There's no way I could have gone to the dentist. I can hardly walk on this blooming foot. Oh, and the thing was, I wear a lot of scarves, and because I haven't got a bandage, I didn't have a bandage, I wrapped my ankle with one of my scarves, one of my leopard print scarves, and then tied it with a ribbon. And that helped. I sort of dipped it in cold water to make it cold, like a cold compress, and then it was a tea towel, and I tied it around my ankle, and it helped. I mean, it stopped throbbing, because when I've twisted my ankle before, one of the worst things is when it throbs. It's a horrible feeling. So yeah, and I slept okay. Anyway, so this morning when I've got up, I thought, oh, there's no way. The other foot was aching as well then. Oh, did I tell you I scraped my knee as well? Yeah. Oh, my knee's all scraped. Just as well I don't wear short skirts anymore. Anyway, so I had to phone the dentist. I said, look, I'm so sorry, but I took a tumble yesterday and there's no way I can hobble in. So there was that. And then I thought, oh, I'll ring my daughter because I needed to get my meds. So I phoned her and I said, look, I explained everything that had happened, and I said, I need to get my meds. Would you mind awfully? And also I need milk and sugar. Um, so she said, yeah, Mum, I'll get it. So bless her, she came in. She's got a whole bag full of things, a wonderful plant, the red plants you get for Christmas. Can't remember what they're called. Yeah, she bought me one of those, and she bought me loads of paracetamol, ibuprofen, 3 different types of bandages, um, a long hot water bottle that she was going to give me for my birthday, but she thought she'd give it, you know, to me today. And what else? Loads of sweets and some sort of a wheat bag that you put in your in the microwave to warm up. So yeah, she's such a good girl. She's such an angel, my daughter. So yeah, she came over and lightened my mood a bit. I think I'm just tired. I think that's what it is. I'm tired today. And yeah, and when you're hobbling around like an 80-year-old, it sort of gets a little bit annoying. But other than that, I'm fine. I'm all strapped up now with my bandages. I had a lovely hot bath earlier, which really helped. So yeah. So that's my Friday, guys. I hope yours was better than that. Although that happened on Thursday night. So yeah, don't know what I'm rambling about. So anyway, I'm not expecting anyone to come in. That's perfectly fine. I just thought I'd fire up the StreamYards again, go live, try and get used to going live a bit more often. I didn't go live often enough in the past. So yeah. So as I say, I hope you're all having a good Friday. I'll get the days of the week right in a minute. And I was thinking, as I say, I'm meant to be sort of doing some work, but I was thinking of how I can do these live streams, how I can make them a little bit interesting, a bit more interesting than just listening to me talking and not putting my face on camera because I look like shite. Sorry about that, but it's true. Um, and for those of you that don't know who I am, this is me. Hello there, and welcome to Jan's Views. Despite being on YouTube for a few years now, I don't think I've ever done an introductory video about me, about Jan's Reviews, who now is Jan's Views. So I thought, it might be quite a good idea just to let you guys know what gets me ticking that. No, it's not ticking over, is it? Anyway, so this is me, guys. Yeah, that's me. Anyway, so as I was saying, I was thinking about what I could do. How can I make this a bit more interesting? And so I've decided that I think one of the best things to do is to split it up. It's not as if I'm in conversation with anybody at the moment. So I think it might be a good idea if I just split up the live stream, and when more people come in, they can sort of, obviously we'll have more conversations. But at the moment, I'm kind of, I was going to say shadow banned. That's not true. I'm trying to distance myself from certain areas of YouTube and starting afresh with kind of, not a lot. I mean, I'm still going to do stuff. But anyway, so I don't know if those of you are aware that I used to write. I used to be a poet and a songwriter, and I used to write. I actually started writing my own life story once. And then I sort of got to the part where I thought, when sort of sex comes into it, and I thought, I can't write about sex because my kids will watch it. That's the trouble, you see. When you've got 4 kids, you've always got to be aware of what they might see or what they might read. So I thought, "Oh, I can't do that." So anyway, I've still got pages of it. Maybe I could read some of that sometimes. Anyway, so what I thought we could do, we could have a corner. We could have like the reading corner, um, which will be me reading part of my blog. I've written blogs. I've written poetry blogs, and I've got art blogs. But I've also got an art playlist, so you can see my art on there. But anyway, I thought it might be quite a good idea to read a little bit of my blog for you, just so that you, well, get to know me, get to know another side of me, which I think is quite important, you know, because some people, they don't, you know, haven't got a clue really, have they? Um. Anyway, so good at rambling. I am great at rambling. So I thought it might be interesting, it might not, but it's my life, so I can do what I want, really, can't I? Anyway, so this is my blog. Um, and I wrote it years ago. I haven't gone back to it, but on this blog, as I say, there's a lot of writing, there's a lot of poems, and I thought it'd be quite nice as part of the live stream to read it. So it says this blog is about me, or rather my perspective on my life and thoughts in verse. I have 4 beautiful children, 3 of which have grown up successfully, and the youngest boy, also growing up nicely, is still at home with me. That's not true. He's moved out now. He's he's living with his girlfriend up the road and doing very well. I'm very proud of him. I'm very proud of all my kids. My 2 girls have each produced the most gorgeous baby girls of their own, and my oldest son is still practicing. Right, that's a little bit different now. One of my girls has 2 girls. The other girl has a girl and a boy now. The eldest son is still practicing. Poetry portrays music with a written melody, art with a literary vision, thoughts without the turmoil and the interruption of voices and the hostilities of life. Each stroke of the pen signifies and demonstrates a longing for understanding and empathy, coming from a place few others can fathom, unless they too have love in their hearts and no love in their souls and pain in their hearts. I have always written. English was my favourite lesson at school, and composition was something I adored. I would write page after page, chapter after chapter, and I remember to this day always finding it hard to know when to finish a story I was writing. Some may say this is evident in my work today. I'll leave you to decide. Then I put 2 of my favourite quotations of all time. The world is a stage, and all the players, I'll say it again, the world is a stage, and all the people merely players. I really believe that, you know. I really believe that. And the other one that I like is revenge is a dish best served cold. They're my 2 favourite quotations. People have commented that my poetry and verse have a strong rhythmical feel to them. This is probably due to the fact that I was once a songwriter and lyricist, and find there are many situations when writing, many similarities when writing poetry. Words have to flow in order to create fluidity, both in verse and songwriting. Otherwise, it would be a bumpy ride and not sit comfortably in the mind and soul of the listener, or indeed the reader. A pessimist by nature, some of my poetry could be described as dark and questioning. But isn't that what words are meant to do? To question and encourage the mind to explore other perspectives and perceptions. I only write about what I see or feel strongly about, things that move me and make me question why. I hope that by sharing my written words, others may feel enlightened, or better still, emphasize uh, emphasize with some of my thoughts and probings. That shouldn't be empathize. That should be well, yeah, maybe, but yeah, maybe I'd use a different word there now. It is hard to write about positivity in a world full of turmoil and disturbance, both physically and emotionally, but I hope that people don't find my poetry too dark for them. I would hate to think that my written words are too depressing. They are my voice on the stage of my choice, using the language I find most comfortable to portray my feelings, questions, answers, and emotions. When I've been able to do so for many years, since oh no, I have been able to do so for many years since I was a child. I still remember poems I wrote when I was 10 years old, which is amazing as I can barely remember what I did last week. I'm a Scorpio on the cusp with strong Sagittarius leaning, so I've been told. Hence my complex and rather muddled mind. In fact, I was once described as an enigma and immediately took it as a compliment. I'm very loyal and have a huge sense of justice and honesty, which I strive to see in everything and everyone. As I grow older, my patience is noticeably waning when it comes to stupidity, dishonesty, and unfairness. These negative attributes are guaranteed to produce acts of extreme disdain. So beware. I have a huge interest in people and psychology. I suppose this is fairly evident in my writing as most I pen is question based. Finding it difficult to take almost anything on face value, a question is never far behind until it fits comfortably inside my head. So, yeah, that's about me and my blog. And if you look to the right hand side, you'll see all the poems I've written there. I'll leave that for now. We don't need to read about that right now, I think. Maybe next time we go live, maybe I'll read a poem for you. Um, I started doing let me see. I started trying to do a poem a month about the weather, if that makes sense. And there's that one there, which is called Very Nearly Christmas. So I'll read that because it's coming, isn't it? It's coming quickly, guys. Christmas round the corner, money getting tight, children wait with bated breath, hopes high for their delight. Parents counting pennies, Santa's on his way, apparently with tons of toys upon his festive sleigh. Stores crammed full of ideas, tempting all to buy things that no one really wants, but we don't question why. For it's very nearly Christmas, the time of love and joy, Christmas pud and mistletoe in abundance to enjoy. So put away your worries and paper over cracks. Soon we'll be full of happiness and mostly on our backs. Our smiles will reach 1,000,000 hearts each and every day, for it's very nearly Christmas, our treasured special day. So that's the end of Poetry Corner. What else did I think? Oh, yeah, I thought I'd do something like this as well. Bear with, bear with, bear with. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Yeah, I think you can hear me now. I think it's because I took myself out of the studio. Can you hear me now? There I am. Okay, so in this section, I'm going to be talking about other creators, other topical issues, and today we're going to look at Peter Mon because that's who I used to talk about many moons ago. And it's quite interesting to see that he is still doing exactly the same thing, and still talking about the same people. So, how these people who came for me because I dared talk about their beloved Peter, how people could complain about me talking about Peter and saying that I was obsessed with him is rather ironic when you look at his page and you see how many videos he's doing on the same people. Yes, we are. Everyone is allowed to feel how they feel. I left Peter alone some time ago. Um because he sort of kicked up a bit of a storm, and I'm not going through it again. I can't be bothered. But yeah, so I thought it'd be quite interesting just to have a look and see what our Peter's doing right now. He's got a good following. He's still talking about Shane Dawson and Jeffree Star. Always does. Oh, okay. So we did a Netflix explanation on the spoilers of The Watcher. That's quite interesting.
So we're probably running over 100 zaps at any given time. I feel incredibly more productive with the Zapier running behind the scenes.
Hey, you guys, it's Peter, and welcome to my channel. Peter! Boom, 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 boom. Review stuff. And
that's enough for me. Sorry, that's enough. Yeah, so I just thought it'd be quite nice to pop over there and see what else he's doing. He's recovered from the accident that he had, which I'm pleased about. And he's just back doing the same old thing again. I see Monty is talking about
Soon enough. Somebody hold my bag. Somebody hold my coffee.
Do you know, I don't think I've ever heard Monty laugh. So they're all laughing. I wonder why. Should we just have a listen?
Okay, I need to stop. Right?
Can you hear this?
Oh boy. Lisa B says, I told hubby I love the potato salad the most, and he looked at me like I was having a stroke. Yikes. Right, Corey? He's like, somebody hold my purple mattress.
I like Monty. One of the reasons I like Monty is because he's very relaxed in his delivery. There's nothing frantic about him. And I like that, you know. I'm sick and tired of all the drama out there, and it's like it seems that people expect you to be in certain corners, you know, in certain communities. And, you know, if you're in that community, then you can't really be seen in that community. Well, I'm not like that. I go wherever I want to go and I say what I want to say. Yeah, he is Holly. He's very chill and logical. And I like that. I just like his delivery. I've been checking out different creators lately, for various reasons, and mainly because I'm just sick and tired of what's going on and in that, you know, in the other communities. And you know, YouTube shouldn't be about that, you know. YouTube should be about having fun. And, you know, if you can build yourself a community, then that's wonderful. But if you can't, then you can find other communities, you know, communities that you enjoy. This is one that I watch all the time. It's called Big Jet TV. He's a British guy. And
so my nosy aunt goes, when are you and Sam planning on getting?
He basically films from London Heathrow Airport. And I mean, some people would find it boring. I find it wonderful. And when it's a miserable day, a cold and miserable day, just sticking him on and listening to him is, I just love it. I just, and there's a community there. We're a nice community there. He appreciates all of us and treats us all nicely, and everyone
Whatever
chats
it is,
about aviation.
Well,
yeah. And I have to say, he has the best outro music. The best I've ever heard. Hang on, let me play it for you. Hang on, where are we? Why is that not playing? Oh, maybe. Oh, where are you, Jerry? Yes, listen to this.
As we've got some pretty decent stuff.
This is what I love.
Toodaloo. Okay, go for a cut.
Look at the outro. I do as well what this, but it's means to an end, darling.
Check that out. Bosh! Flipping it. You're watching Big Jet TV.
I love it.
Yeah.
Love it. Holly, I also have a fear of flying. So what I did was I taught myself, or I forced myself to watch aviation videos, and because it's a way of learning how planes fly, understanding how they fly, understanding what all the noises are on the planes that you hear. And because of that, and because I also know a couple of pilots, actually, there's a couple of pilots that I have followed, and one of them, you know, is a friend now. Because of that, it's helped me with my fear of flying, basically. And now when I'm on a plane, I know what all the noises are. Whereas before, I'd be sat there thinking, "Oh my God, what the hell's that noise?" And it's things like that. It's like with anything. If you learn about something, then you can rationalize it in your head. Is there a specific thing that you're worried about when you fly, Holly? Because I know so much about aviation now. I'm actually an av geek. I'm just, I can't help it. And I mean, one of my best days is to stick it on YouTube and have it really loud and just watch all these planes. And I'll tell you the good channels to watch that I've learnt from is Big Jet TV, which is that one. This guy is Swedish. He's called Mentor Pilot, and he's lovely. And he do videos explaining why things happen. Yeah, like this one. Why did the pilot continue?
A Boeing 777 is on final approach into San Francisco Airport. From the onset, it looks like any other approach, but then, as the aircraft is getting closer to the runway, it starts dropping down, way below its normal descent path. The pilots try to pull the nose up, but it doesn't help. What is happening? Stay tuned.
But he'll explain it. And that's what's so good about finding not communities, channels like that. They can teach you and explain everything to you. I think it's that if anything goes wrong, it's not immediately, and you have too much time to try and register what's about to happen. That's absolutely true, and it is worth acknowledging. But in reality, that is why flying is so safe when compared to riding, driving a car or riding a motorbike, because in that time, okay, it's not immediately, okay, in that time, those pilots who are fully trained to deal with all these eventualities will be in contact with the ATC, which is in buildings throughout the world. Pilots are always in touch with aviation centres, and they will be speaking to them. They will be speaking to mechanics. They will be, if it's anything that's really, really serious, it's normally a computer malfunction, and there's always a way to deal with it. It's not about a plane will not just fall out of the sky, which is a good thing. So in the time that something has gone wrong, firstly, as a passenger, you won't be aware of it. Secondly, the pilot, the plane can still fly. The plane will still fly if it loses an engine. People don't realise that. The big planes have 4 engines. They're massive planes. They're like the 747s or the Dreamliners. And so if they lose an engine, it doesn't matter. Hang on, let's see what you're saying. This is really helping to come. You should go, Holly. Where are you going from? Honestly, because I know so much about aviation now, I fly. I flew over to Germany, well, just before lockdown. And do you know what? I did something that I never thought I'd be able to do. I got up. The flight wasn't full, so I managed to sort of get into another seat, and I looked out the window, and I mean, I'm petrified of heights. I can't even go over bridges, and I was able to look out the window, and I could see we were flying over the what's that water near us? The channel. I could see a boat, and honestly, you got nothing to worry about, because a 3-hour flight, that's not long. I can do 4 hours. I mean, what I normally do is take a pill before I go, but that's because I have like a anxiety disorder anyway, so that doesn't help. But the fact that I know what the noises are, and if you're a nervous flyer, all you've got to do is tell the crew, tell the people on board, and just say to them, look, I'm a nervous flyer, and they will look out for you. I promise you, they will look out for you. When I flew to Berlin, I was in the front seats, just behind the pilots, and the air stewardesses and air steward were sat right in front of me, and I was trying to be brave, and eventually I thought, no, I'm just going to tell them I'm a bit nervous. So I said, listen, you know, I'm just a little bit nervous. And they said, you know, they chatted to me the whole time. They kept an eye on me for the whole flight, and they were saying, "Are you okay?" I said, "Do you know what? I'm really good. Yeah, I'm good now because I know what's happening." I think one of the hardest things is knowing or is not knowing. You know, it's like if you've never had a baby, you may be terrified of giving birth, but that's because you've never had one. You don't know what's going to happen. And it's the fear of the unknown. People need to understand that airplanes don't just fall out of the sky. And there's always, you know, there's, is it 2 or 3? I think there's 3 different distress calls an airplane can call out. And it's very rare that they call out the strongest or the fiercest call, you know, because they work it out. They fly, they're computers. Aeroplanes are computers. So the flight is already logged before you even get on the plane. And that means that the pilots have already logged in where they're going. They look at the maps. They look at the flight maps. They know if there's a possibility there might be a bit of turbulence over this part or that part, and they will try and avoid it. But turbulence is nothing. Turbulence is just air going into different. It's like you'll hit turbulence if you go over mountains because of the. I'm no good at science, so I'm not very good at sort of explaining it. But because of there's different levels and you've got like airflow. When the plane flies, obviously you get like the airflow goes above the wing and below the fuselage. Well, if you're going over mountains, it's going to be different. And also, if you're going over water, it'll be different. But how many times have you heard of a plane like just suddenly flops into the Atlantic Ocean? It doesn't happen, darling, because they've already because there's so many things that they do before they even start the plane. You know, it's every eventuality is taken care of. And remember, aeroplanes are just huge computers at the end of the day. Let me see. I can see me freaking out with just a little turbulence. Listen. I would possibly freak out with a little bit of turbulence as well. But do you know what? It's nothing. Turbulence is just a difference in the air. Okay, it's a difference in how the air is flying over the aeroplane. That's what turbulence is. That's all. And nobody gets buffeted about so much in turbulence that they crash to the ground. Doesn't happen, darling. The airplane will keep going. The pilots will keep the aeroplane straight and level. And in doing that, then maybe it will make it a bit more turbulent for you if you're going like over mountains or whatever. But it's nothing. Turbulent. I mean, I've had a little bit where, you know, the glass shakes a little bit, but it's to be expected. Think about when you're in a car. If you go over a bump in the road, you just expect a bump with it, don't you? So, and because, you know, you got your feet on the ground, you think that you're safer. Let me tell you, you're more likely, more accidents happen on the road than they happen in the air. It's just when they do happen in the air, it's so eh, it's so sensationalized because it's everyone's fear. Do you know what I mean? You're just going to fall out of the air in a plane. No, it's not going to happen like that. I mean, if you'd watched all the videos that I've watched, then you'll know. Of course, there's instances where, you know, things go terribly wrong, but it's very, very rare. Very, very rare. I mean, if that time comes, Holly, and you need a bit of a pep talk, just contact me. Contact me on Twitter or here and just say, Jan, can you give me a bit of a pep talk, please? Because once you understand it, then you're not as scared about it. It's a bit like when you go to the dentist, isn't it? And you sit there and you open your mouth, you haven't got a clue what he's doing in there. And all you can hear is these noises and like drills and zzz, and you think, oh God, I don't like that. That's what it's like in an aeroplane. Yeah, anytime, Holly, honestly, because I was so scared of flying, so scared of it. And I always remember, I've known people, like I had an elderly aunt who had never flown in her life. And I just think, oh my God, that's really, really sad. Have you ever flown before, Holly, or would this be your first time? And you're going, it's like interstate, as they call it, are you? So you'll be on what, American Airlines or JetBlue, Spirit, one of those? I mean, I know all the I don't know all the airlines, but I know a lot of the airlines. I know a few of the pilots as well, actually. Some of them are on Insta, but they don't normally say who they fly for. But I know very good looking American. He works for American Airlines. Very good looking guy. Not my cup of tea, but he is. He's good looking anyway. So yeah, so that's another good one. Mentor pilot. I think the one yeah, look. Mentor pilot talking about turbulence. When is turbulence dangerous? Okay. It's very, very rare that you'd get really severe turbulence. Oh, you have flown once before. Okay. Let me see. Flew one other time. It would be the same flight I've taken before, Wisconsin to Florida and back. So it's about 3 hours. If you're that worried, then take one of I used to have, what is it, diazepam or something I used to take. But I swear to God, Holly, if you could just learn a little bit about aviation, then you'll understand, that it's highly, highly unlikely that anything really bad is going to happen. Do you know, I watch a channel, it's called, what's it called? VAS, hang on, VAS Aviation. And this channel, it shows, okay, this channel shows all the, when accidents happen or could happen. Very, very rarely does anything happen. Okay. So look at the titles. Allegiant. Don't tell me you're flying with them. Bird strike on the nose after takeoff. I haven't watched that one yet. But they survived. There's a TUI had a bird strike on the nose. Emergency return to Schiphol. The other thing you have to realise is when you're in a plane, you're never more than, I don't know the statistics, but you're always close enough to an airport that you can re-divert to. The only time you're not is when you're flying over, say, from England to America. But then even then, there's only a very small area of the flight path that isn't covered by ATC. But they've all got their own channels of, what's the word? Of communication. So you're never just up there and nobody knows you're up there. Lots of people know you're up there. Yeah, please go. I wouldn't mind being in Florida in December. That would be nice. But honestly, let me just show you some of these flights, okay? There's hundreds and hundreds of like little incidences that have happened, but that, the what's the word? The layman would probably think, oh my God, you know, something bad's really going to happen. But it doesn't, because there are so many things, those checklists that they run through to rectify if something's gone wrong. In the cockpit, there are so many buttons because it's all computerized, and they can see if anything's wrong. And as soon as they see something wrong, then they do something about it. They contact ATC. ATC are the people that are in the towers, yeah, and are in contact with the pilots. Let me see. Right, there's one. Air China has left engine fire on takeoff from Dulles. Right, so if you look here, I don't know if you can see. Can you see my thing? You can see that what happens is he's taken off, okay? When they take off, they go to, oh, I'm probably going to get the heights muddled up, about 2,000 feet, level off a bit, and then they go up a bit more to the next stage, which is about 10,000, 12,000, and then they go up again up to cruise level. Each of those levels, they're in touch with people. The first two levels, they're still in touch with the airport that they've just left from. So this Air China, which has left, which has a left engine fire on takeoff, as soon as he gets up there and they've got the indication of a left engine fire, sometimes it's just, oh no, there was a fire there. As soon as he sees that, he will contact that airport and say, right, we've got a left engine fire. We need to go up to 10,000 feet because we need to burn fuel. Actually, I don't know if he would have burnt fuel if it was on fire. I don't know. Anyway, so then they might say, right, well, we'll vector you around the airport, which means they fly around the airport until they can come back in again. That aeroplane with the engine fire, it's not just going to blow up. Do you know what I mean? They do things to stop that happening. And you know, if there's the worst thing that'll happen, like with a fire in the left engine, is that the engine will die. That's it. But that particular plane, it looks like it's got two engines, so it will come down on one engine, which is possible. It's quite capable of doing. What have you said? The Langoliers. Have you ever seen it? No. What's that? And even American 319, that's what I flew to Germany on, has engine failure after takeoff at Albuquerque. Right, so has engine I've seen it. Yeah, so again, as you can see, after takeoff, okay, so he's still in the vicinity of the airport, so he will be in contact with the airport and say, right, this has happened, we need to get back. And the ATC in the tower will organize for him to come back. And what happens sometimes, if the airplane's still got a lot of fuel on, obviously some of the big planes will have, you know, tons and tons of fuel on them, and they have to go and burn it off. And that basically means they just, you know, spew it out into the atmosphere, but they don't do it over residential areas. It's a story by Stephen King. Oh, that would be scary then, yeah. There's another guy I watch. It's another pilot. He flies the Dreamliners, and he does a lot of those. He does what's it called? Movies versus aviation, or movies versus pilots. And what you have to understand with movies is they have to sensationalize it. It's not actually what happens. So that guy is called 74 Gear, and he's He's really good. 7-4. Yeah. That's him. Pilots get lost in Bermuda Triangle. Small plane flies under 737 during landing. But he does have a series where he does, I forgot what he calls it, something versus something. Oh, how annoying. Hang on, let's go into their playlists. Oh yeah, air traffic control versus pilots. And then he also does Hollywood versus reality. What did you say the name of that program was? Yeah, it'll be, I wonder if he's done that one. I tell you, one of the funniest videos that he did. And what's it called? It's all, what you have to realize is when it's you know, a made for TV thing, it's always to, you know, they're always going to sensationalize it, aren't they?
Never get
People
a
aren't gonna
copyright
watch
claim
it.
again by using
It's a bit like that film that's just been on. What's it called? The Watcher. The real story is very different to the Netflix series. You know, they do it on purpose. That's why I prefer. I watch a lot more YouTube than I watch TV. TV gets on my nerves. Hang on, where's the other one? What should it say? Hollywood. Let's see which other ones he's got. Plane crashes into. Yeah, and what he does is he dispels the way, you know, the story's being told. Entering other dimensions. If I'm not into sci-fi or sci-fi. But
Tenant, Hollywood versus reality.
I won't play much of it because he might not like it.
A little dramatic. Coming up. Hey 7-4 crew, welcome back. If you don't know me, my name's Kelsey. I'm a 7.
See, he explains. See, he flies the big 747 Dreamliner, but he explains so much. And I think if you really got into it, Holly, I'm telling you, you'd be flying over to Florida without a care in the world. And you know, as I said, a lot of it is to do with not knowing, you know, just not understanding. Anyway, I'm going to go. I need to get on with some work now. Thanks for coming in, Holly. Eventually, I hope other people will turn up. If not, I'll just talk to myself. I'm perfectly happy doing that. You know, as I said, I want to start bringing back some of my lives. I quite enjoy doing it, but I'm getting a bit of a sore throat now. I need to go and have a drink, and then I need to start working on some more designs. So I want to say thank you so much for coming in. Oh, you've met a man called Kelsey. What a wonderful memory. Oh, really? Nice. Is that him? Is he a pilot? Yeah. Oh, thank you, Holly. Yeah, that's what I plan to do. You know, I just want to do, I'm not going to be doing drama per se. I will talk about it in a little bit, but that's not what I want to give. I just want to be able to sit, chat, hopefully have more people coming in. But if not, I just sit and chat to myself. I'm used to it, guys. I am. But as I say, Holly, thank you, darling. You're an absolute darling. And I'm going to leave you with this and say, have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. And thank you so much for coming in.